Reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 18, text 56. Sarva karmani api sada kurvano madvyapashrayah mat prasadat avapnoti shasvatam padam avyayam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my pure devotee, under my protection, reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. So it's not that the devotee doesn't do anything, not that the devotee is just sitting like a dumb, blind person. No, Krishna is saying that the devotee is engaged in all kinds of activities. The word mat vyapashraya means under the protection of the Supreme Lord. To be free from material contamination, a pure devotee acts under the direction of the Supreme Lord or his representative, the spiritual master. So if we also want to get free of our material contamination, what is this material contamination? It's because at core, originally, we are souls. But right now we are thinking we are the body. And because we are so much identifying with our body, then everything we do is for the body. All the designations are for the body. I'm man, woman, I'm whatever, Indian, American, all the different differences. So that is the material contamination. And if we want to be free from this material contamination, then we should follow the process, take up the process of Krishna consciousness seriously under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master. There is no time limitation for a pure devotee. He's always 24 hours a day, 100% engaged in activities under the direction of the Supreme Lord. To a devotee who is thus engaged in Krishna consciousness, the Lord is very, very kind. So this is one of the ways that we can understand if somebody is really very advanced in their Krishna consciousness, that they don't want to waste any time. Even a moment of time they don't want to waste apart from Krishna, because they have that attachment for Krishna. And because the devotee is so much in love with Krishna, then Krishna also reciprocates. Krishna is not hard-hearted. He's very, very loving. He's very loving. He's in fact waiting for us to look towards him and love him. In spite of all difficulties, he is eventually placed in the transcendental abode or Krishna Loka. He is guaranteed entrance there. There is no doubt about it. In that supreme abode, there is no change. Everything is eternal, imperishable, and full of knowledge. So the spiritual world, it never, over here we have experience. Everything here in the material world has an expiry date. Even we ourselves have expiry date here. We are born, we maintain for some time, we have some byproducts, then we start dwindling. We can see with time, everything deteriorates. But in the spiritual world, everything remains ever fresh. Ever fresh. Time does not have that deteriorating effect there. Actually, time is conspicuous by its absence, they say. Time is just there for the sake of pastimes, but it does not have this deteriorating effect. And full of knowledge. Over there, everybody is situated in the original platform. Eternal loving servants of Krishna. Not that, oh, I want to make myself happy, so I'm going to speak of something, and then somebody else wants to make themselves happy, so they say something, oh, why aren't you listening to me? Why aren't you listening to me? And like that, then egos clash. No, over there, everyone's aim is one, just to engage in loving service to Krishna, loving pastimes with Krishna. Text 57. Chetasa sarva karmani mai sanyasya matparaha buddhi yogam upashritya makchita satatam bhava. In all activities, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. So Krishna is saying, how should one act? When one acts in Krishna consciousness, He does not act as the master of the world. You see what is Krishna saying? He's saying one does not act as the master of the world. So something that we need to introspect. How do we act? You know, do we think that all that I'm seeing is for my pleasure? Everything should exist for my pleasure. Everyone should be giving me pleasure. We might say, no, I don't think that. But then what are our desires actually? Or how do we act? Just like a servant, one should act fully under the direction of the Supreme Lord. A servant has no individual independence. He acts only on the order of the master. A servant acting on behalf of the Supreme Master is unaffected by profit and loss. He simply discharges his duty faithfully in terms of the order of the Lord. Now, we might say, I don't want to be the servant. Being a servant is so horrible. Why should I be a servant? I want to be the master. Why should somebody give me orders of what I have to do, what I don't have to do? Why should I listen to anyone? What about my desires? What about my goals? What about my aspirations? You know, we have that and that's the reason we are here in this material world. That is our covering. That is exactly our covering. So by hearing and chanting about Krishna, then slowly this covering will go away and our true identity as eternal, loving servants of Krishna will be revealed. So now one may argue that Arjuna was acting under the personal direction of Krishna. But when Krishna is not present, how should one act? If one acts according to the direction of Krishna in this book, as well as under the guidance of the representative of Krishna, then the result will be the same. So Krishna has left behind these teachings of Bhagavad Gita for us to take guidance from Bhagavad Gita, for us to find solace in Bhagavad Gita. We can see when we are disturbed, if we just pick up the Bhagavad Gita and start reading we will get answers to our questions, what we are looking for. You know, Gita is like that. It's words of Krishna. So it's very relevant for us. It's not that it was only relevant for Arjuna 5,000 years ago. No, otherwise, why would Krishna take the trouble to speak this knowledge just before the battlefield? Everybody is ready to fight and then suddenly everything is put on stop because Krishna wants to give this knowledge. So we should try to understand this knowledge to the best ability and apply this knowledge in our life. Only hearing, but with the hearing, we need to apply it. You know, that's why spiritual knowledge has to be heard submissively, with an open heart. If one acts according to the direction of Krishna in this book, as well as under the guidance of the representative of Krishna, then the result will be the same. The Sanskrit word matpara is very important in this verse. It indicates that one has no goal in life save and except acting in Krishna consciousness just to satisfy Krishna. Then what about my goals? What about I have so many things to do. I have so many duties to perform. What will happen to my family? What will happen to my career? But Krishna is not a fool, you know. He's placed us in a certain position. He knows what he's doing. We just have to follow. So that's why Lord Caitanya said, wherever you are, whatever you are doing, you continue doing. You just start chanting Hare Krishna. And that's what is our, you know, we should try to endeavor. Whatever position we are in society, we should not prematurely give up anything. Because if we prematurely give up anything, then we will just create a disturbance for ourselves and others. But wherever we are, just start chanting Hare Krishna. And that is the way to satisfy Krishna, to please Krishna. And while working in that way, one should think of Krishna only. I have been appointed to discharge this particular duty by Krishna. While acting in such a way, one naturally has to think of Krishna. So whatever we are doing are not illicit activities, but you know, because Krishna says don't do these illicit sinful activities. But whatever other duties we are performing, we should think, I have been appointed. This duty has been given to me by Krishna. Let me do it for the pleasure of Krishna. This is perfect Krishna consciousness. One should, however, note that after doing something whimsically, he should not offer the result to the Supreme Lord. That sort of duty is not in the devotional service of Krishna consciousness. One should act according to the order of Krishna. So not that we do something wrong and then we say, oh, it was Krishna, all the mistakes are because of Krishna, you know. I am very pure, I make no mistakes. No, the mistakes are ours, in fact. We should say, oh, whatever good is happening, whatever good I'm doing is Krishna's mercy. Whatever bad is happening is because of me. So one should act according to the order of Krishna. This is a very important point. That order of Krishna comes through disciplic succession from the bona fide spiritual master. Therefore, the spiritual master's order should be taken as the prime duty of life. If one gets a bona fide spiritual master and acts according to his direction, then one's perfection of life in Krishna consciousness is guaranteed. Why if we follow the act according to the direction of the spiritual master, then we will be perfect in Krishna consciousness? Because that's the spiritual master engages us in Krishna's service. He does not want anything for himself. It's not that he'll say, oh, you worship me and make you so that I can have so many disciples and so my ego can get inflated. No, what does he want? That you engage in Krishna's service, that you develop your loving relationship with Krishna, that you go back home, back to Godhead. That's what the spiritual master wants. That's what Srila Prabhupada is telling us here in his purports. So any questions, comments, anything?
No, okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining. Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you.
Hari Hari Bol. Hare
Hari Hari Bol.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.